Good afternoon. My name is Hafiz Sheikh, and I'm the business head for Manufacturing Today. On behalf of ITP Media, Manufacturing Today magazine, and Husky Injection Molding System, I welcome you all in today's webinar on Servo Control Technology, Science and Fundamental Trends and Benefits. ITP Media Group, headquartered as you in Dubai, we publish more than 100 weekly and monthly magazines and have a wide portfolio of market-leading digital properties and more than 100 business and consumer events and conference globally. The platform which has enabled us to join today, Manufacturing Today, India's leading magazine, which focuses on people, process, and technology for large and MSME. Manufacturing industry is now been at the forefront in embracing and implementing new technologies and solutions in this disruptive age. The agility of the company to adapt new technology will definitely define its success. The global pandemic has caused a lot of uneven atmosphere in the overall sector economy. It imperative that crucial manufacturing sector regularly adopts solution which drives best ROI. As manufacturing plant are becoming smart with the increasing use of automation, conventional method of industrial motion control drives are fast making ways for general purpose servo motor technologies, making machine and equipment more flexible and program while providing higher level of intelligent motion control. With this, let me not hold you more. With this, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Rajen Kasi, Vice President, Southeast Asia, Hot Runners and Controller, Husky Injection Molding System. Rajan has 25 years of experience in mold, tooling, and processing industry. He has held a variety of roles supporting customers, adding value to client in manufacturing processes in several countries. Rajan holds a master degree in engineering from University of South Australia. Rajan, over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon all. Thank you, Habis, for the well introduction. So as well, Habis started the webinar. It's a very interesting session today. It's very important for the industries, very much needed. It's more on ultra servo controlled systems. So the industry is moving faster enough in terms of mold automation, and the turnkey solution, always the industry is looking for what kind of the speed with the precise and quality looking for. So today, Husky, we are bringing to you a servo control overview, which is a globally successful full solution developed by Husky. And also, moreover, I could see I'm running through the Asia region, more coming to Asia. So a lot of inquiries and customers interestingly try to understand. So that's what put up us, like, why don't we talk to this medium to find out and introduce this more important technology to the big chunk of the group of the people. And thanks for the organizer, this webinar. And let me bring it through this the detail of the session. Along with me, Balaji Malur is one of my senior technical manager who sits in Singapore. He will be there in case any doubts, he can clarify us.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So just a few quick update on Husky. You might be most of the guys know about Husky. Just a quick update. Husky is a very industrial leading hot runner and controller company. And we work with mold makers, brand owners, and converters directly. And our vision to be a highly precise and high quality manufacturing solution, hot runner versus mold, machine, and turnkey solution. And we have only a global manufacturing footprint. We are having a manufacturing in Milton, especially for serving the North American market, and in Luxembourg for mainly for a European market. And in Asia, we have one in Shanghai, mainly for Asia. And we started in Chennai about 8 years before, a big manufacturing hub for supporting the South Asia, mainly to India and Southeast Asia countries. And in Husky, we have a unique product, Altanium. and ultra sync, which is more on coming to the servo control pneumatic systems, and very highly precise industrial top leading ultra helix wall gate systems. In terms of market, so we serve most of the high segment market, especially where is high precision in terms of volume as well as the application wise. Husky, well-known global support network on the service, and it's owned by Husky globally. We have a manufacturing and we have a sales and service and also a refurbishment center to support customer globally where is nearby. So the ultimate aim for Husky to make sure the customer uh, minimize the downtime to improve their production time so that you will be on top of the industrial supply as well to your customers. And today takeaway, the interesting session of Altanium Servo Control. So shortly we call ASC. So we will bring it to you the basic understanding. What is that? And also we will compare you the solution. Why not simple individual control rather than the ASC? And also we'll show you that how it works when you go for individual as well as the multiple the standard local solutions. And also we have a very detailed Altanium servo control designs and what kind of the application you can pick it up. Today, it's a very simple chart you can understand. Today, for example, if you are having servo controlled mold, you need to have a temperature controller for hot runner, and also you need a servo controller, whether it may be unscrew or like in-mold closing or core rotation. And you will have one more controller if you are operating the wall gate with a servo. So instead of three interface, a simple three interface, it can be combined into ASC, which is Altanium servo controller. So this is a simple step to understand that why we need to go for a Altanium servo controller rather than the individual. Because if you're having like an in-mold closing, you will have one interface. If you have unscrew, you need to go for one more interface. So rather than multiple interface, you can connect to this simple ASC. Which over the session you will be able to understand. And also we are having an open question and answer session at the end of the session. We can clarify if you have any doubts. So today the Altanium mold controller. So Husky, well known, this temperature controller is most controller platform in Husky, which controls the temperature control. And along with that, we are bringing together a servo control and also pneumatic ultra sync electrically operated wall control. So what is the use of that? If you have a single interface in terms of in the left, I'm just bringing the pointer option. So this is a single interface. Instead of having a multiple interface at nearby your injection molding machine. So what are the things you can bring it to this interface? You can bring it to the temperature controller for hot runner. You can bring it to the wall stem operation controller. You can bring it the mold servo control, where you can connect the multiple axes on it. And also along with that, you can bring it the sequential wall control. If you have some sequential wall controller, you can bring it along in one interface, which would be easy to operate. And moreover, it can be linked together so that it would be safe for the mold and your operations over the period. So this is a simple example like how it looks. So in this mold, you are having a spin stack, which is required a servo motor to connect it. And you are having a in-mold closing, and you are having Altanium controlled this wall gate systems. So this all integrated into this single interface, which would be easy to operate. So what are the value for you? So typically, if you have a typical hydraulic systems, so it like more complex because you need to have a hydraulic system, and then you need to have it like one interface to operate this hydraulic system. And moreover, you're not able to control the speed or it like the finishing position. And it always have a contamination problems there where it reduce your performance of the system after you are investing in a very nice mold with a very effective product design and mold design, very ultimate mold. At the end of the day, if a typical hydraulic system, if have contaminations, it reduces operations, and whatever you plan, totally it going to be less efficient. So what is the solution? The solution which need to be moved, how we are optimizing our mold design, like a better cooling, better steel, better tolerance, better design. We also need to think about how do we control them in a day-to-day operation in each and every cycle operations. So that's where this Altanium servo controller required for your mold and injection molding operations. So what it will give. So basically, like we are having a globally supported standardized movement of the application servo motor, where it provide based on your application. So we design the system, complete the engineering support based on your application, how much the speed required, how's the force required, where it has to be speed up, where it has to be speed reduced. That will be support for your entire system. And that will be eliminate your need of hydraulic or pneumatic, so that the reduce of the risk of the contamination would be much nil. And it will be deliver the very fast and very fine-tuned control force, speed, torque at various steps. Because today in the processing industries, everybody looking for what is the processing cost. So if let's say you process, for example, like resin cost almost is fixed, we can't change much, and with the less of like 10 to 20% of the balance product cost, so the processing is become like very important. So you can step the speed, maybe in the starting you need a slow, so that you have to go slow, and in middle it's kind of ideal time, so you can go faster and then slow down, so that your stem or your core or your in-mold closing or your rotating core will not take that pressure into the end, so that it's a fine smooth closing. So when you do that in the middle ideal time, you can very much save for your cycle time as well. So how do you do that? You can't do it in hydraulic, you can't do it in pneumatic, and it has to be only the way go with electrical servo control. And in the servo control, what is special for Husky? Whatever you're going to put the control, it can be integrated into the one system, which is ASC. So that's where we are bringing it to the complete optimized systems. So what are the area you can look for? You understand now what is the need for Altanium servo controller, and how do we incorporate, and what is the area which you can use it. Of course, it's more important for a medical industries, because you need a cycle to cycle, part to part, very precise, very accurate CPK pass everything, which is more on medical industries, and also very high cavity non-medical industries. If, let's say you have a running like having a 48 cavity or 96 cavity unscrew closure. If let's say you build a beautiful mold with a beautiful hot on and everything, end of the day, your unscrew mechanism is gone by hydraulic or some local servo control system. If that damage your course, or if that jam your system, the total investment is going to be stale as well. So that's why even it's a non-medical, it's very important to have this kind of a system to value your investment, to take out the complete optimization of your product. And what are the applications you can use? You can go for a stepper plate or slides, and a coining plate, and rotary cores, and core pulls, turntable, and also the spin stack, and more important, the in-mold closing in kind of non-medical industries. And we have been already working quite long period this one, and we have been installed around the globe, and it running very successful. And those installed customer actually very much interested to move further this kind of the solution rather than the hydraulic and pneumatic, and more integrated into the Husky. So what it works, how we do this total solutioning of this Ultium servo controller. So we do the application engineering, because this is more on precise control. So we need to work directly with the mold maker to find out the right size of the motor and actuators. And also we need to find out from the molder what kind of the injection molding machine you're going to utilize, and what are the signals it can be taken from the machine to the injection molding. And based on that, we are going to integrate into our controller. It will be assembled in Milton, Vermont, and it will be completely specification filled inside the system, and controller operate over there, and then send it to the mold maker for assembly. And the very important thing as a customer for you, it's a global support. Like Asia become like more molding hub, mold making hub for global customers, especially the high cavity customers. And this kind of the global support company is very important today. If let's say you have some locally available servo system integrated together, if you've gone there somewhere in South Africa or Brazil or like Europe countries, and without a global support, it would be going to be a nightmare for you guys, because you can't support at any time. So what we do in Husky differently, our own trained engineers will do the commissioning this mold along with controller to optimize the interface, how it works along with the molding machine. And also we do a training for the operating of the maintenance system. And we also do a support while starting the production at the same place or different place. So this is how we bundle up with the complete total solution for you to make it success. So how does the application engineers works? So all the coatings we based on the dedicated application, and we take out, if let's say you are developing a 96 cavity unscrew system, and we love to ask you what kind of the design of the caps, what kind of the force you are looking, what kind of the design you're going to use it, and what is the cycle time or resin detail. So based on that, we able to incorporate with our Servo soft. It's a dedicated Servo soft simulation software. Prior to deliver to you, we will precise sizing the motor and right of the axis models, and we do the complete simulation inside our factory, and then integrate everything, and then we will send it to you for at the field for assembly with our engineer. So how do you can take it? You can take it as a standalone. Even it's not mandate to go only hot runner. We need to buy this one. Even in the standalone, you can take it. If you want to have a more precise the servo control system along with the global Husky support, or you can take it as an integrated. You can go standalone or integrated. On the application wise, you have a servo drivers, and you can pick whether it's a linear axis or rotary axis. And also based on the injection molding machine, we can have the injection molding IO option integrated together with the machine controller, so that this controller and machine will talk each other, and they will be make sure not produce any bad parts or not produce any difficulties for you. This is some of the examples how it looks. This is like up to a 2-axis servo alternative servo controller, and this is a picture where you could see 6 axis of servo controller with along with ultra sync E drive E controlled wall gate system. And here like you have like a temperature controller, and here it will be integrated with the axis. And this is like combined with the hot runner controller and alternative servo control axis controller, as well as the wall control ultra sync key. This is some more example, like we do have 84 zone temperature controller along with 4 axis and one ultra sync key integrated for wall gate operations. This is how it looks internally. It completely interchangeable parts and very neat and tiny. Because today, if you see the market, what have a servo controller, it's more bulky. It's not a easy to keep it in your machine. So this is uh, more on your injection molding surface, the face usage. It would be really support for your injection area more neat and clean, and it would be very less energy for people to operate in one interface rather than multiple and with occupied with all over the injection molding machines. This is how it looks like. You can have a complete Altanium controller with heat temperature heat controller, and this is the AAC signal, and here how it goes to the wall gate controller. Along with this AAC, as I told, the IO option, which is integrated along with the mold and machine, which can be a more useful, especially for automated production and high cavity unmanned productions. So it can be like user definable output. You can set it like if let's say something goes wrong on the machine temperature, it will be automatically send the signal from the machine to controller. The controller will start to stop working of activities like moving the wall stem or moving the core or bring down the temperature to certain set point, so that the whole operation will be go in a parallel. Otherwise, what will happen that if let's say if something goes on the machine, if the standalone product, it will be running this separately, and it will be continue pumping the heat that will be sometime produce the like a degrade of the plastic or overburn of the material, or sometime the wall stem move, it will be difficult for the operations. So that can be avoidable by with this utilizing this digital IO signal. It's very much useful those people who running the complete productions. And we also having some standard connector standard which can be picked based on what you are going to design. In terms of servo control, a motor and actuator, we used to work with for a two type of motor with the two type of the different global suppliers, like a Baumler. You may be heard that they are very good in rotary axis motor, which would be we are using for ultrasync e-control wall gate. It's a very nice speed operations and very precise, very silent actually. And also for a linear actuation actuator, we are using XLR. This all actually we are include along with our offer, because we're going to do the servo soft. We utilize the design and then compile to you and give it to you as the turnkey solutions. And also we have a closed loop feedback by using this servo system. That also we'll use it with the absolute encoder as well as the resolver. So this is we have a digital feedback as well as the analog feedback where the position and location. So that how it we make sure that ultra-new servo controller works very fine. Moreover, we are trying to use for a new mold development. And even if you have some existing application which would be critical for your operation, we are okay to work with your product design team to determine the application for the retrofit of the current systems. And this is how it looks, the servo motor. You will have a complete the feedback connectors, and then you have excellent brake and the feedback twice, and also starter wing and output shop where you can connect your motors. This is the inner structure of the servo actuator with the integrated motor, where you can have a linear operations. And you can have like one more adapter for belt and conveyor pulley. So these all based on your design, we can design it and supply along with the systems. So how we are offering in terms of the servo controller system. So basically, we can make it support for you as a turnkey solution when you go for a new mold design. So we can involve from the conversion to electric actuation, basically a medical mold or create molder or a precision molder, or even we can start to work with the mold maker and an alternative to one-off engineering solution. When you are developing the mold design, we can integrate our servo designed systems, which would be more precise mold will be add up value together in order to have a committed cycle time and committed quality for a long time. And also, if you are a molder today, you are struggle with the complete hydraulic system, and you are having a lot of failures, or you are struggle with today's supplies, basically a hydraulic system failure, and we love to take that opportunity to analysis for electrical actuation systems, and then we can design application and integrate for your molds. So these are the some of the examples, which, for example, like you will have a rack and pinion, how it works with the servo systems. So it's a kind of a profile motion for better controller, so that you can have a high torque with a low speed to break out part away, and a high speed low torque to move part off from the core. So this pattern, it can be very much consist, so that each and every cycle will have the same kind of the force for the product to come out from the machines. And this is one of the example like wedge plate and pins, which gone for a coining purpose. This is more on to reduce the contaminations. So why the electric actuation? To reduce the contamination and instant notification of the process variability. Because once the product is done, the variability will move with the bad part. So it would be instant notification, so that based on that, the processing guy person will be able to control it. And the stroke length for a faster actuation. So based on the input, so you can have a stroke length adjust. So this is more for a slider and core pull. You can have a very preset cycle and a study where you want to open which speed, which position, so to move out the part. So this is to avoid risk of contamination. So it would be, you can set the motion, especially like maybe initially you can move slower, and in between you can move faster, and finally you can go, so that your product fall down would be a very profiled. And this is how it looks, the IO screen. It would be more visible for your process engineer to see what kind of the safety assess in terms of system. So it will be very much clean, green signal. If everything, the safety mechanism in line, it will be there. If anything, there is a malfunction, you will have a alarm, and then you will have a complete data history here, so that it would be provide you what is connected, what is this, what are the like a field for adding user defined labels. You can label it yourself, like this is for the core plate, this is for the wall gate, and the each IO option, you can find it, okay, which where you want to set it up, whether this portion you want to make it low force or high force. And moreover, it along with the one industries, whether you see a temperature, you see a IO option, and also you see alternium servo controller, as well as your core pull moving signal, everything. It would be more benefit for the people to operate as well easier. So this is how what I explained, that the motion curve. Okay. So you can have a position and speed, whether you want to accelerate, and force limit where you want to stop. So for example, here the blue color is speed. So initially you want to have example, like you are having like first few seconds, you want to have a slow start, and then in medium you want to have utilize this is the ideal cycle, so that you want to have more faster, and at the end you want to set. So this is completely on-screen software-based solution. So based on your actual, because this speed and force, everything, we can set it in the process itself. Like normally we don't do the pre-defined this one in the factory. So based on your actual result, okay, if let's say we are using the core for a stipper, so rather than the mechanical adjustment or hydraulic adjustment, we can do it by the servo control. Okay, so when start for like 2-3 mm, we need to have this much speed, and in between we want to have this much speed, and then we want to slow so that the part will be can fall down within the particular position. Or in terms of the rotation and ejection example, initially you want to have a slow rotation, and in between there is you can increase the speed so that the part can come out quickly, and then finally you want to go slower so that the core will not come and touch your ejection stiffer plate, so that the wave, the creation, the scoring mark will not happen over the period. So these all you can set it based on time to time, and based on the real operation. So that's where measured value in every cycle you can have a position, move time, and peak pressure, and then you can set it the alarm as well. So by some external force or some foreign particle fall down or some issues are there, this movement is not happening properly, so it will be indicate you the alarm, so that the process engineer can find out where is this variation, where it comes from, and then it can be immediately rectified, rather than you produce, whereas in the conventional system it may be reproduced continuously, and then the total lot can be rejectable. So these all the view. And moreover, for a medical molder is very much important. This view, the historic pattern, actually you can store in the system as well, and you can take out for printing for your recording purpose. So this is how more inside, how it works, the limit up to the 4 induction position. Like we have a 4 induction position. So the motion can be sequence of a 4 index, and then also you will have the linear motion, which will have a step. So this is the basic example that we are giving to the thing. You split into the 4, and then based on the 4 you speed it up, so that it would be more structured way of application, which would be utilized for your products. This is a typical system you could see from the market. Like you will have like a bulky control system with the one controller, and then you will have all this button type, and then of course it has to be integrated together. The critical part for you, like you need to have, if let's say today you are having like one core rotation, you need to have one system like this. Okay, so one of these you need to have it, and then tomorrow you want to have that mold have in mold closing, and then you need to have one more, and the day after tomorrow you have a electric operated wall gate, and you need to buy the separate wall gate operated controller, and then you will have a temperature control. So this is where Husky alternative servo controller comes along in a single source for you. So it's for ease and speed of integration, where it can be like kind of a very faster installation and commissioning. So this is more on rather than you set it up and you adjust based on that, because it is more on motion control. And also the actuator and drivers we are commissioned in the factory, so that most of your time will be off away, because we use the servo soft to optimize it, and then we do the startup support. And in terms of ease of performance, we modify the motion profile at your place. You can do it as the things, and you can scan the time to timer command where it executed, and how do you make it faster. Because after let's say some core, after running few million cycle, you may be required a little bit slower or faster. You can modify it. It's not like once you fix, it has to be live lifelong like that, not like that. So you can modify for time to time performance based on the product quality, as well as the the performance of the mold. Because when we down, we know what kind of a performance inside the mold. So based on that, we can fine tune this servo controller for better operations. And of course, it's a Husky supplying a global solution in terms of application. And we take care of the complete turnkey motion controller for you as a turnkey to you. And it can be go up to the 6 servo controller plus servo in terms of wall ultra sync E plus temperature controller. And you can integrate along with the IO option where I say that integrated together with the controller and machine. And moreover, you are buying a global support network solution, which would be more good for you to invest, and also like have a global network support where your end customer or you are the user, it would be more benefited from their by 24/7 supports. So this is how finally we work. Like we provide you a dedicated application engineer when you have a mold design. The application engineer will start to work with your designers to optimize the controller, to specify the correct actuator, and that would be like like kind of this is more on the motion control technology which we need to do, which is a little bit hard for the designer to select the right one, so that we are removing the responsibility of the mold maker designer to us to specify the right actuator and motor, so that you can concentrate more on the design part and how to eject and how do you design the mold manufacturing. And we utilize our expertise, the global expertise, to incorporate along with your mold to specify the right actuator and molds. And the design defined, we can define the signal interface to the machines, so that like rather than your process engineer to optimize, we just talk to your injection molding machine suppliers, take the signal, and then we modified our controller along with that. And we can do the pre-tune actuator so that it can be shipped together and then integrate for a ready to install run. And this would be like every order, every controller we are optimized. And of course, we are trying to maximize your utilize applications. So if you see the budget, if you combine everything together in terms of the controller or the one-stop rotary motor and linear actuator and the global support and the ROI, where you invest something in a big way in the mold, and also you part of it you invest on this Untitled servo controller with Husky support and a global solution. I think it's very near for a ROI, and it would be very good for your ROI, which we can, along with my managers, to work with you or team to find out what kind of the ROI you can bring it to you or your customers. That's the end of the presentations. So this is what we have a contact detail. I'm here in India, so I'm taking care of the service and sales team of South Asia. So you can note down my contact number and email ID. Along with me, Balaji Malur, he sits in Singapore. He takes care of the key account sales as well as the service manager role. So we are allowed to hear from you guys on this advanced mold automation solution. And we thank you for your patience for the last 45 minutes to hear this important technical detail. And we are open up to you the question and answers so that we will have a detailed discussions. I will hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajan, and really appreciate for your time and insight. Before we go for Q&A and take some question, people who have very encouraged, really very encouraging for them to ask a lot of questions. We have a lot of offline question as well. Before we go to the question, can we do a quick poll to just understand the learning of Shivali? Can I request if you can just start the poll question? Yeah. So requesting everyone to participate. We have 30 seconds for each question. So the first one, why are you interested in learning more about mold electrification today? So this is a single choice you can choose. Then the second one, are you currently using servo control motor today? And the percentage. The third one is, overall, how satisfied are you with your existing server solution, which is a multiple choice. You can choose multiple from the options given below. I think if everyone is done, so can we quickly see the result? Rally? Wonderful. Rajan, you want to make any comments on the answers,
Yeah, very interesting. So this is what exactly, like, of course, this is the new technology which is we are bringing to more into Asia. Even there are already users on it, but what we thought it's same, like we are hearing from more people that this kind of the servo technology which we want to step in, and then we want to explore more, and we are aligned with that. I think it's nice of all the guys.
Okay, so quickly, can we now start with the Q&A session?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I think the first question which I would like to ask you is, can one move actuator? If you can share your learnings on that.
Sorry, how is your voice is broken in between?
Yeah. Can one move actuators from mold to mold?
No, this is more application design. We fix it. Whereas this controller, you can use it for multiple. Whereas the actuator is kind of a part of the mold, so it can't move.
Wonderful. Can one use the same actuator on all molds?
Yeah, so see, like today, what we design based on the application. If let's say you are what's a product and what kind of the force required and torque required, based on that, we design the actuator. But the same design of the actuator, it would be different from the different product. So we need to go by the based on the application we need to design, and you can't move it actually. If you have a typical same product, same mold, of course, it can be used, and the Husky engineers can support on it.
Okay. Can we work with any brand motors, Rajan?
Yeah, so we already specified like two type of motor, Formula and XLR. If customer have their own choice, so we allow to hear more detail, because it's more on we need to run through our servo software and application based, and then based on the output we like to support. And the two brand we pick it's a global supplied and globally supported for us. Because if let's say this motor is supplied somewhere in the different countries, and we do take care from there, where we have to quickly get the support from these people.
Okay. And can one buy a universal controller? Is that possible, Rajan?
I mean, can buy a universal controller.
Controller, yeah.
I mean, one controller for this all kind of whatever they mold have it, they can fix.
Correct.
It,
The
right?
one which you have. Yeah.
Yes. That's what where Husky stands on it actually. Because if let's say today a customer having like a 5 mold, but they may be having only one machine, Okay, it's a customized mold. And rather than they go with a local solution, which buy 5 controller integrate together, and they can just put in one side, they can put one standalone controller fit along with the machine where we can integrate for them.
Okay. And integration of temperature control with your servo controller, how does that work?
Yeah, so integration of temperature controller, it more control for the hot runners, and servo controller which more on the signal, which supply the signal to the actuator and motor rotor to support the speed and the motions. And it's a two compartment in the controller, but the both signal comes to the one interface where on the top you have a different screen window. You can choose when you want to operate. If you want to operate on the servo, you can choose the servo, and then you can play with the speed wherever you want to set it. And if let's say you want to switch to the temperature controller, you just click the temperature controller screen on the same screen like a pop-up window. Just put it there, and then you can play with up, down temperature and modified it, all things.
Rajan, thank you very much, for your time, and the session was amazing, filled with insight. You have given a lot of experience, real-time scenarios, and much more, for this today. We really appreciate your commitment and dedication in sharing insight in the interest of the audience. Additionally, we also wanted to thank you, audience, for your thought-provoking question. There are also much more questions which we will like to take it offline. And everyone made this event more lively, and this is more technical stuff, so this is what we can do. We hope it was a learning experience for each stakeholder of the summit. Thank you very much, and be safe.
Thank you very much, guys. We love to hear you. Like as we shown in the initial presentation, we are very well set up in India, and we love to hear work with you guys. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.